So let's talk about Bronwyn and tell me about the fight that you had with the creature under her house, because that must have been fun to do.
So I have an incredible scene that I was so excited to be a part of in episode 2, which I did a lot of stunt training for, and it was with an orc. And I basically get to slay an orc, and that was empowering and exciting, thrilling, all of the above. But also just, you don't see that inner strength coming, you know, and I love playing characters where, you know, there's mystery and there's something in there that's brewing, and then all of a sudden, bam, there she is, and she's tenacious and a bit of a gumption machine.
So how connected is she to her son Theo? Because we know at the end of episode 2 something is going on with him, with the blood coming out of his hand into the scary sword.
Yeah, so Theo, she Bronwyn is the single mother to a rebellious teenage son, Theo, and
they're all rebellious at that age.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Just like, get it together. And then, but you know, I think she just thinks of it as a phase that he's going through, and of course he frowns on this romance that she has with this forbidden romance with the elf Arondir, who's watching over them. So there's a conflict, there's a bit of a power dynamic there, because it's sort of like the occupier versus in love with the occupied. And she's trying to liberate her people from the shackles of their past. Her ancestors chose evil, the side of evil over good, and she's trying to redeem them from that decision. And I think Theo is conflicted because he doesn't trust the elves. He doesn't trust. He's sort of a different mindset than his mother, and so there's a bit of a conflict there with the son and the mother, between the son and the mother. This poor Bronwyn can't win.
I know.
She's like got it from all sides.
So let's talk about, is it Arondir? Arondir? How do I say your character's name? Help me out. Arondir. So what was interesting in the first episode was he has a sixth sense. He knows something's going on. Like, it's almost like he can feel it. Is that something that we sort of see start to like more and more with your character?
I think perhaps yes. He is deeply intuitive, both as a being, but also by virtue of his elvenness. You know, he has what do you call it, superior eyesight, superior hearing. But there's something about Arondir specifically that is its deep curiosity. I think you can see that as well, the way that he looks at humans, the way that he looks at Bronwyn, the way that he interacts. I mean, that first episode, I believe, with the cow. You know, there's like the way that he just like his hand over the animal and immediately knows what's going on. You know, so I think you that's just elven, but also just deeply rooted in his internal conflict and who he is.
Yeah. What's going on with Bronwyn? He seems to love her, right? That's clearly, he's like he's been pining for her.
Pining.
From that tower, just sitting up there.
Yeah, it's like with a little bit of a breeze.
Wood elf.
Pining. He's been timberling. He's been pining for. I mean, I really tried that joke on camera. It was unsuccessful. I was trying to riff, but yes, I think it's more than just like a burgeoning love. I think there's this desire to fuse. You know, there's already beyond. There's a deep curiosity. It has to be, because the result of an elf and human love, it is tragedy. So the considerations and the stakes are very high. So it's beyond love by this point. It's a responsibility. It's a guiding light, and it's what kind of starts carrying him through this journey.
Let's talk about Theo. And especially what happens. So what is going on? His blood is going into the sword that he finds underneath. Can you tell us a little bit about filming that scene?
Oh, that scene was actually so technically difficult. It was like I was sitting in this really like cramped space in the set, and they'd taken a wall out, and they had like a camera right up in my face, and then like a camera over my shoulder, and I had to like hold this, and I just have JA in my ear, like, you know, there's a speaker right here, and he's in a microphone going, okay, now look slowly up your head. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then so, because they were tracking my eyes. But obviously, yeah, it was really, really technical and difficult, but it's like, there's so many questions about the sword, and
Yeah.
I've got a lot of questions, and you know the showrunners are keeping quite a bit, you know.
When you were filming it, did you know anything about it, or they just give you the script and you gotta go?
You know, on my first day, I sat in a room with Patrick, and he explained to me what was going on. And I remember he said to me, he got so excited to tell me about this sword. He's like, "And you found this sword, and da 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 da." And I was like, "Okay." And then he was like, "Oh, I need to stop myself. I can't tell you too much." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's obviously something kind of important. So
Yes.
yeah,
I'm really worried for Theo. How worried should I be after episode 2? You
you
guys are all laughing because you know stuff. So
he
you have some challenges?
Yeah, you can worry about him. I worry about him too.